The final battle for the Chapter 5 island is currently only a few days away. But how do we go from fighting the Greek Pantheon to fighting a bunch of Wastelanders to a whole Marvel season again? Well, I'm here to explain exactly that in this video. So let's start off with what happened to the Olympians. Well, fortunately, the answer to that is very simple, thanks to both the Cerberus and Artemis NPCs. With Zeus's defeat at the end of last season, many of the gods chose to flee the island in order to find new domains. However, Cerberus was ordered by Hades to stay behind and wait for his wife Persephone, the queen of the underworld, so that he could bring her to Hades' new domain. Artemis, on the other hand, remains on the island as she enjoys its chaos and wishes to continue her hunts here. Now, while the Greek gods may no longer be on the island, that doesn't mean all elements of Greek mythology are gone from this season's storyline, but I'll get into that in a minute, as now it's time to go over the main story of Chapter 5, Season 3. A sandstorm has struck the Fortnite island, turning the entire southern part of it into a desert wasteland, and emerging from this storm is none other than this season's main antagonist, Megalo. Aboard his massive ship, the Leviathan. He has brought with him his crew of wasteland warriors to wreak havoc on the island, as he and his higher-ups work towards his true goal of driving his massive ship through the island, destroying everything in its path. But that's easier said than done. See, the Leviathan, upon its arrival, has conveniently run out of fuel and will need a whole lot of nitro before it will be mobile again. But what is nitro? Well, nitro is essentially a performance-enhancing drug that can enhance the abilities of both a person or technology. And the Wastelanders have been using this PED as their source of power to control the wasteland. However, two in particular have a certain obsession with it, those being the Machinist, who originally studied and may have even invented nitro and has been using it to not only enhance herself, but uses it to power the Wastelanders' vehicles. But the one who is absolutely obsessed with this stuff is Megalo. He is constantly pumping this stuff through his system to the point where even his mask is designed to allow him to breathe in nitro 24/7. This has caused Megalo to become a hulking figure with an intimidating presence, and he knows this. Megalo views himself as a hunter and his enemies as his prey, which he loves to toy with.
Welcome, weaklings, to my glorious wasteland. To those who bow before me, good. To those who fear me, even better. And to any who think to stand against me, your screams will taste sweet, dear ones. I will enjoy every bite.
So Megalo has been broadcasting threatening messages over the vehicle's radios all season, which, yeah, voice lines are back, and I will say, they really give us a great idea of Megalo and his personality, and who he is as a character. How he is this power-obsessed and dangerous tyrant, but he still has a sense of humor.
It's me, the voice of the wasteland. And now, the weather. Sand. And more sand.
But this, of course, had gotten the attention of our returning heroes Hope and Jones, and this season gave us a deeper look at both their personalities and one of their backstories through both their spoken voice lines and the written NPC dialogue. So this season, two of the Society's members, Oscar and Nisha, returned, now seeking new lives after they lost their wealth and barely escaped the wrath of Zeus. But while it's nice to see what they're up to, what is more interesting is what they revealed to us about Hope's backstory. Oscar tells us that Hope was actually raised as part of the Society, but as she grew up, she realized how corrupt they were, which led her to forming the Underground and eventually teaming up with Jones. It's nice to see Hope get some backstory this season, but that leads us to our heroes' true roles with this season. So the pair are just calming down after defeating Zeus when Megalo first arrived on the island, and the pair have two very different responses to this new threat.
Jones, you're late.
I just dethroned the king of Olympus. I think I've earned some downtime.
First of all, we dethroned the king of Olympus. Second, no. I've been watching Megalodon. I don't like what I see.
I don't care.
Bring your friend.
Okay. okay.
So Hope is able to bring Jones, who's become sort of egotistical and arrogant, back into action to look into what Megalodon is up to. Hope quickly starts to recruit some of the Wastelanders to her side, such as Rust and Bright Raider, who see Megalodon as nothing more than a power-obsessed tyrant, and wish to drive him out of the wasteland. So they act as informants for Hope and help her uncover what is truly going on. This eventually leads Hope to tasking some loopers to raid Red Line Rig and hack into their systems to get information about Megalodon's true plans. It is through this that Hope discovers what the Wasteland Warriors are truly up to.
I had a feeling we hadn't seen the end of Pandora's box, and I'm worried I'm right. The Wastelanders have been finding gems. I think they're from the box, which means we need those out of circulation. Find them and bring them to me.
Yeah. Not to critique your plan, but is that a thing that you should be doing?
Do you have a better solution?
It's just, your family doesn't have a great track record of, not destroying the world.
Yeah, well, I'm the black sheep. Let that come in handy for once.
Despite how Jones feels, Hope sends a looper to retrieve the gem and bring it back to her. However, once Hope comes into contact with it herself, she starts getting this weird feeling in her mind.
Great. Then we don't need to hear the rest of what you have to say.
Hope, I have direct experience with this sort of thing. When I got lost in the 0 point, I got all the way lost, so just leave it alone. Power like that can't be controlled. Best case, it destroys you. Best case.
And worst case, it falls into the wrong hands. The box wants to be found. I can feel it, and if I can feel it, there are others.
But that's not the only oddity happening on the island, but we'll get into that in a minute. After some time had passed by, Hope had located the next gem.
I found another gem. This one's at the Nitrodrome. I don't know much about Ringmaster Scar, but I've yet to meet a Wastelander who's been persuaded by a poetic, heartfelt conversation about feelings.
So the looper then went to meet Ringmaster Scar, and they must have made a pretty good impression.
Scar seems to think you're cool, and she's willing to trade the gem. Bad news, she wants to be paid in the form of, Hold on, let me get the quote right. A stunt so dangerously, riporiously metal that it makes the gods wet their big golden bloomers. So, wear a seatbelt, I guess?
So the looper is able to impress Scar and bring back the second of 4 gems. But this time, Hope informs the looper that the gems are showing her things. One such thing is a cloaked wanderer working with Megalodon.
I see you out there, watching me. Watching my glorious pipeline, inching closer to the beast, whose belly will fill with nitro, and who will tear you to shreds. Meddle while you can. You will not stop me. I have been assured of this by a wise friend.
Which brings us to this season's biggest mystery, the Wanderer. The Wanderer is a strange being that appeared on the Fortnite Island around the midpoint of this season. He appears as nothing more than a white cloak with dark mist underneath where a person should be. The Wanderer, at least at this point in time, isn't hostile and just spends their time observing those around the island. Those who live on the island seem to realize that he's around, but say he vanishes before they can even get a good look at him. But who is the Wanderer? Well, we'll have to address that later in this video. But for now, let's cut back to Hope and her hunt for Pandora's gems.
The next gem is with a situation named Peabody. Now, I've been watching them for a week, and I don't think they're hostile.
He's an amateur gardener, a professional mechanic, and an expert at being high in fiber.
So Hope and Jones send the looper to meet with Peabody, who, as his name suggests, is literally 3 peas in a pod. Each of these peas are brothers, Phil, Axel, and Earl, who run the P-Boys Inc. stations around the island. However, they somehow wound up being forced into Megalodon's crew to act as their mechanic, while the machinist has been building the pipeline to fuel the Leviathan with nitro. However, Peabody hates the Wasteland Warriors, so if the looper is willing to help him out a little bit, he's willing to not only give up the gem, but act as an insider for Hope.
According to Peabody, he'll help us if we help his, dummy? I'm assuming he's an employee?
And he's around somewhere, but we'll know when we see him. Peas are not helpful.
So the Looper locates Dummy and helps him finish collecting car parts for Peabody, and as agreed, Peabody hands over the gem. So with each gem Hope has received, her headaches have only gotten worse, and her visions are becoming clearer. But she still doesn't want to tell Jones what is happening, as she's too obsessed with finding that last gem. But what's surprising here is Fortnite didn't do the cliche, hide the obvious threat from the mentor character. No, Jonesy found out something is wrong, and he is not happy about it.
I need that last gem. Right now.
Is that you speaking, or is this some sort of Pandora's box power thing? Asking because your tone is frightening.
I'm fine. Another headache. Pipeline's almost done. We're running out of time to get the final gem.
Despite all of this, the Looper agrees to find the gem in Megalodon's possession. The issue is, according to Peabody, he stores all of his valuables in a secret spot out in the wasteland, and the only way to get it is by showing the map that he keeps on him at all times. So naturally, the Looper decides to go and confront Megalodon in person. The Looper locates Megalodon and engages in combat with him, but fortunately for the Looper, they don't have to actually defeat Megalodon, just do enough damage to him that he will drop the map, which they are able to do and slip away. This of course infuriates Megalodon and causes him to finally put out a message regarding our heroes.
I have decided. It is my birthday. And I know exactly the gift I wish of you. That broken has-been named Jones, and the charlatan artist calling herself Hope. They are collecting my precious baubles, my Pandora gems, and it is irritating. Those are mine. They cannot have them. If you love me, or if you fear me, bring me their heads!
But this message doesn't matter, as the Looper has already located the final gem and brought it back to Hope, where something unexpected happens. The Oracle from Chapter 5 Season 2 emerges from the gems and informs Hope and Jones that they have a lot to talk about. But before we get into that, the Machinist has finished Megalodon's pipeline, and they are ready to fill the Leviathan with nitro.
Your fate is sealed, Wastelanders. Enjoy your unhappy ending.
But as it hits the halfway point, things take a surprising turn. Finally, the Wanderer reveals himself to be none other than Dr. Doom, who has rigged this pipeline to reverse the nitro flow, causing the entire thing to malfunction and eventually cause a large explosion that reveals that Pandora's box has actually been hiding underground near Red Line Rig this entire season. And now that Doom has betrayed Megalodon, he can finally enact his own plan and absorb the powers of Pandora's box. War is now inevitable on the island, and our heroes know that, which is why Hope has found an unlikely ally.
So, confession time. I've been talking to Magneto.
Oh, great! Because he seems trustworthy. Why are you talking to Magneto?
Well, he came to talk to me.
Things are about to get weird, aren't they?
Well, I summoned a magic water ghost, so... Ghost? I am a seer. Don't get it twisted, Miss Underground. Do you want to talk or not? Yeah, fine. This box should destroy you. But instead, it talks to you. What does it show you? When I connect to the box, it promises me everything I've ever wanted. Peace, harmony, hope. I know that it's just showing me what I want to see. That if I give in, it'll destroy me.
Hey, I know you. You're not gonna let that happen.
It's not that easy, Captain Tough Guy. Hope and this box, they're linked by fate. But the Wanderer, his interference has warped this fate. His presence has rewritten the stars themselves. And now it is not enough to simply close the box. You must fight. And you must win. Do you see it now? You were meant to be the hope at the bottom of Pandora's box. I get it. It's literal. It's literally your name. Take it up with the fates, okay? This Wanderer has taken the box's power for himself, and he has sealed your fate along with his. There is no turning back for you now. You must fight this Wanderer. But I just hope. I don't know if I am who you think I am.
If you take a stand, others will follow. You need not stand alone. But hope, you already have everything you need. Prepare for a war, my child.
So now all we can do is wait and see what happens in the final battle of Chapter 5.